dangers of late night crochet. I did this while I was at a board meeting last night, and yeah, I did this wrong. So this is correct. This is the left pocket. This is supposed to be the right pocket, and so this is going to be frogged. I'll start over. It happens a little too often sometimes, but yeah, that's how it is. Well, I had a touch of insomnia last night, and so I decided to kind of open up a couple books that I have to do a little bit of journaling. Sometimes that helps calm the mind. And so I took this one out of the library. In Creative Fuel or some other workshops I've done over the last couple of years, people keep mentioning the daily writing that she has, the morning pages and other things as ways to help just kind of focus your writing and your journaling and things like that. And since she was the first one that came up with it, so I took this book out. And what I didn't notice was the spiritual path to higher creativity part of it. And while I'm fine with spiritual texts, this one was a little bit more heavy-handed on the preachy side of very, very Christian preachy side. So, you know, which is fine for some people. I was like, all right, I'm just going to kind of go into this with an open mind. So I was like, all right, this is cool. My word of the year was safety. And I looked at recovering the sense of identity and just kind of kept going down. I'm trying to get this out of the library first before I buy books. Yeah, so I was like, all right, this could be pretty good. And then I opened it up a little bit. So sometimes when you go into some of these self-help books, they're either, you know, they have everybody's biases and everything, but this one was a little bit on the judgy, I don't know what you want to say. I'm trying to be polite here. But it's like all that angry, whiny, petty stuff that you write down in the morning stands between you and the creativity. I'm like, you know, that's not exactly a nice thing to say. I mean, it's not very encouraging language. Maybe I don't know. And I love footnotes in books, but these quotes on the sides were terribly distracting from what was going on. That just didn't resonate with me. And then her version of giving testimonials, it was like, not everyone undertakes the morning pages with such obvious antagonism. Phyllis, a leggy racehorse socialite who for years had hidden her brain behind her beauty and her life behind her man's, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, it just seemed a little bit superficial writing. I just didn't like that. And then this here, then I started going into stereotypes. You know, what are some of your core negativities that keep you scared? It's like, I never thought of artists as drunk or crazy or broke. I mean, maybe in some Victorian novels or something, you know, it's just so sure. Some biographies of some artists are pretty hard, but it doesn't reflect what their actual life story was. But it just kind of like went into stereotypes, and I didn't like the negativity there either. Then we got to this. I was like, okay, let's just go over to the tasks and let's look at the, you know, this is supposed to be a workbook, right? And then this is where it kind of was a little bit more affirmations. Kind of, maybe I'm old or something, but you have the I think of, what was that character on Saturday Night Live that would do the affirmations in front of the mirror? So every time I see people do these kinds of things, you know, that I'm not big enough, good enough, pretty, whatever that character did on Saturday Night Live is kind of where I went to. And I was like, all right, this isn't spirituality. This is, yeah. And then I was like, all right, let's just keep going. So then she started talking about like your crazy makers. And that's when I just kind of, literally, this is the chapter. This is where I kind of stopped this and said, you know what, this is just not for me. In the same genre, oops, I'm trying to like make sure I don't have the libraries. Well, I mean, you'll know I'm from Massachusetts area, but anyways, so in the same genre, Alexandra Ellie. I've taken part in a couple of her workbooks that she has, and I learned about her through a podcast of some sort somewhere. So I got her version of this kind of a book. It's like journaling as a way to, starting from scratch and befriending your fear, reclaiming your power, that kind of thing. It's a shorter, more concise, very organized, not drolly, and what I love about her language is it's not judgy at all. It's very humble in the beginning, tells her life story, where her challenges were in writing this book, which is fine. The other one did the same thing, but this was done in a gentler way. So you have a little bit of like personal thoughts, and then you have for journaling, it breaks it out for journaling. And this is kind of nice because, like, I like when you're doing these kinds of challenges where you do this kind of part where you're writing your intentions for this. So, I'm doing this because I really want to go on a healing journey. And then here are 10 reasons why I want to heal. And then, so you can kind of go from there. And this is kind of nice. I mean, you could still take the 3 pages, or you can do 3 minutes or 10 minutes, like whatever kind of makes sense for you. But like you can do 3 minutes here and 3 minutes here, kind of thing. And that's kind of what started it. And then, you're starting from scratch. So it kind of goes over, and it does, again, it gives a little bit of her words. And then there's, again, you'll have some tending to your fears kind of thing. But then you'll have a testimonial, just like the other book did, but it kind of breaks it out in a nicer way. I recognize some of the people. And then, one of the things I really liked, it's her language. Again, you can see the difference here. It's like, my well-being is vital to my survival and my art, my motherhood, commitment to my craft. This includes rest and recentering. And one of the things I also liked about Creative Fuel versus the other one was, like, taking a nap is considered a creative activity. Going to a bookstore, going for a walk. It's kind of teaching you that, resting and those things are very important and part of your healing journey as well. And I heal by doing things that remind me that I am a human being. And in a lot of ways, I'm still that little kid who wants to feel safe in the world and who doesn't feel safe in the world, or didn't feel safe in the world. I went undiagnosed. She'll discuss that in here, and that's her story. You can read it yourself. I dealt with a whole lot, and I didn't know why. I heal by returning to those things that make me feel safe, make me feel at peace. And when I was a little kid, I was so overwhelmed, so I take my power back by finding ease. That right there, that kind of spirituality is something that I can definitely resonate with. It's definitely a little more grounding. And then it's like, I heal by painting, I heal by doodling. So you just kind of, like, in this case, you like identify your pain points. And then in your journaling, you kind of write down your truth, like what scares me. And then, how you're making space. Is the meditation instead of affirmations. Affirmations just feel so two-dimensional versus this. It's very similar in the sense that you're kind of telling yourself your story, but in the presence of fear, I will make space for courage. In the presence of self-doubt, I'll make space for self-belief. In the presence of hurry, I'll make space for slowing down. I mean, these just feel a little bit more safe, a little bit more try your own words and how you actually find grounding. So it was just interesting to kind of, in the middle of the night with insomnia, review 2 different approaches to using journaling or a creative practice as a way to go down your healing journey. It's like as using a guide to go down your healing journey. So I don't know. So today we're reviewing books